It's better than 1,000 days of paradise. One day in your glory, as we offer our worship sacrifice. It makes me say, oh, it makes me say, oh, I just want to be in your presence. It makes me say, oh, it makes me say, oh, I just want to be in your presence. One day in your presence. You're listening to the yeah. I want to take your sense of one day in your presence. We got to break this. I want to sacrifice. You make me say, oh. You make me say, oh. Yes, Lord. I just want to be in your presence. You give me every chance to nation right here. What's going to take somebody to see in your presence? You make me say, oh. Makes me say, oh. I just want to be in your presence. Come on, I can say, oh. Say, oh. I just want to be in your presence. In your presence. Everybody say, here's my way. Listen, it's your Saturday. We were right here on the Image Matters Show. We got an amazing guest today. Come on out. I want to be with you. Everybody say, it's one day. You are there. 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 I just want to be in your presence. Good morning. Welcome to the Image Matters Q&A show, and we are extremely excited.
Can't you tell? Can you not tell?
Listen, it is Saturday morning. We know what's going on outside. Some of you are on the East Coast. If you're on the East Coast, there's snow everywhere. It's that kind of weather today.
It's called a blizzard.
It almost feels like Christmas, you know. Yeah. You know, the weather outside. You know, you start singing that. So delightful. Let it snow. I mean, it just feels like that whole like Christmas vibe going on. Right? Yeah, it wasn't that far along. I mean, December just left us, and
It's a blizzard outside, folks. I don't anticipate looking to towards Christmas for a blizzard.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen.
I'm just saying.
Listen, that means that a lot of people are in right now, and that means you could be watching the Image Matters Q&A show. So wherever you're at,
yes,
you should have your, your phone, your iPhone, because we don't do Android. So I'm just saying.
No.
We don't do Androids.
That's not true.
Androids, we don't.
No,
we don't do that.
These iPhone people, they just think that they own the world, because it's iPhone. But I'm an Android fan, and I take offense to that.
Listen, I've been telling him to graduate from the other side for a long time, but he still don't want to come over.
There's no need for that.
Come over to the light.
No. To all the Android fans.
Come over to the light. Listen, good morning. We are excited once again to bring you another edition of the Image Matters Q&A show. We want you again to tag and share this video. We have an amazing, super guest on today.
Yes.
And we, you're going to talk a little bit with him in a few minutes. And we're just excited. We want to celebrate all the birthdays. We've been doing that through January. Happy birthday to all the January babies, because we know that there are a lot of January babies out here right now.
Yeah, so essentially what she means is happy birthday to anybody who had a birthday this past week, because, we keep doing this when we should be this at the beginning of the month. Take care of everybody with a happy birthday celebration, a song. But, we just come back to this. In any event.
We want to say happy birthday anyway, because we're about to approach February, and February happens to be my birthday. I'm just saying that, I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying it.
So therein lies the reason.
Just saying that, I'm just saying, February 10th. I'm just saying that that's my birthday.
Yes.
And, I just want to let people know.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah. So, February is about, 2 days away, and then we're going to celebrate, right? Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So,
and of course my twin brother too, because I have a twin brother. Those who don't know, so fun fact about me is that I have a twin brother, and so we are going to be celebrating our birthday next month.
Yeah, she's just 3 minutes apart, so she's the youngest.
Yes, I'm the last. So and he makes sure he lets me know that, because he says, "Oh, you know what?
I'm older.
I'm older you by 3 minutes." So that's that. So anyway, listen, we just excited. Listen, we got a great guest on today, and Harry was going to sing a little bit, but it's okay, because we got a singer on here today, so it's all right. We, I've been telling y'all, I've been saying that that he has graduated from the shower singer, right? Because he used to sing in the shower, and it was a little something, just a little. But now he done graduated to the living room, to the kitchen, and I'm telling you, he's hitting the keys now, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it just makes my heart melt. It just totally makes my heart melt the way he sings now. Every chord, every note, everything is like on point. I'm telling you, when our guest comes on, he's gonna be so happy too.
So where were we before all this started?
Listen. Listen, I know y'all are getting your coffee. Get your coffee, get your tea. You shouldn't even be outside right now because they're cleaning up the snow. That means you have time to watch the Image Matters Q&A show, right?
No matter where you are.
No matter where you are. We're in simulcasting on YouTube right now. People on YouTube watching us. So listen, you have time now to grab your tea and all of that, because we got a super fragilistic guest. And he's going to tell us so much about what he's doing, and he's doing some amazing things. So as we get our tea, get your tea. We got our tea right here. And just go ahead and just clink your tea, clink, clink. I don't know if Melissa's on, but shout out to Melissa. She always says to me, "Oh, you guys got to drink y'all tea on Saturday." So we got our tea right now.
Yes.
Get your teas.
Yes.
And we're getting ready to start in a few minutes. Just to let.
We've already started.
Oh, hold up.
Hold on.
You just rocked this tea.
Yes, I thought you would say that, but I just wanted to let you know that I put some honey for my honey.
Oh, that is so sweet.
So that's what we do.
That's what I taste. I taste a little bit of the honey in here. I'm like, you switched up on me here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some honey. I'm tasting honey, a little something up in here. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Some honey for my honey.
Okay, that's love right there.
That's
I
love.
get that. That's love.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's because I told you was not a shower singer anymore, and now you graduated. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So listen, good morning. Listen, we have a great guest on today. We want to go ahead. Yes. And without further ado, this is an amazing person. We met him, I think, maybe about 3 years ago now. About 3 years ago. And we were at a conference and we ended up meeting him and his wife and then from there I don't know, when you just feel something, like something just boom, like just hit you. And so it was like there was just like a real anointed vibe going on, and then we started talking and all that stuff, and I found he was in the music and it was history. You know what I'm saying? So today we have a great guest on today, and we're getting ready to introduce him because I'm telling you, he's doing some amazing things, and we want him to share with us all the great things that he's doing.
Yeah, and you actually get an opportunity to learn something about this great man and all that he has done. Mm-hmm. And we're not here to hype. We just here to expose what the Lord is doing in this land, and the people that sometimes just don't get the recognition that they do. But God uses people, right?
Yes.
And so here we are today.
Yes. So without further ado,
yes,
we want to introduce to some, and those who may not know him, but you will know him. Mm-hmm. Because he's an amazing, amazing man of God, and also just an amazing man. So we're excited about him coming on today. We want to introduce to you all none other than, go ahead, baby. Drum roll, please. I hear the drums going.
Yeah. And his name is none other than gospel recording artist Jesse Stevenson.
Hey y'all.
Hello.
Here grabbing my glasses. I'm forgetting something this morning. But good morning to you. And man, thank y'all for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And I think more than anything, I'll say to you both that I love how you all love each other. And man, being married and still being able to have fun and act like a kid and be foolishly in love is everything. So thank you all for that this morning. I love it. I'm feeling giddy watching you all do you. So thank you for that. We need a lot more of that, not just in the kingdom, but we need a lot more of that in the earth, period. So thanks.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, listen, you and your wife are definitely amazing too, and we're just so elated to have you here. I told you last week, though, I think it was a week or last week, it chimed in, and we was like, you know what, we want to have him here because he's got a great spirit. You got a great spirit, you and your wife, just full of love. Mm-hmm. And so today we wanted to talk about some amazing things because you are doing some amazing things.
Yeah.
And
just chime in that you have an extraordinarily beautiful song.
Yes.
That the world needs to hear. Absolutely. I mean, when I first heard it, I was like, wow.
Yes.
I play that again, and then I asked, who is that? It's like, it's just, oh my God, props.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me tell you, and I know this is your show. I get really excited about moments like these because when you meet great people, that's really few and far in between. And I actually, um, very memorable moments for me always stick with me. And I actually I remember the Sunday that we met. We were at Rhema Worship Center with Pastor Eric and the late Pastor Holly Brewer.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Sunday morning. We was in a small ballroom, and it was jam packed. And my cousin Jerry Williams was preaching that Sunday.
Yes, I remember that. We remember that too.
The first time I remember us connecting. I still have that picture of us that we took in my phone.
Woo! Wow!
I took that picture, and man, it was like meeting you all. I'm like, man, has it only been just 3 years? It feels like we've known each other for so long.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? And I mean, I know we don't talk every day and all of that. And you have friends and people like that, but man, I'm like, it's only been 3 years, and so you all left such a mark and impression on my wife and I. And so when we do talk, we're always in love with that connection that we made. And I'll never forget it. It was probably it has to be one of the most genuine connections that we had made in a long time, especially being sort of new to New York. New Yorkers, I've learned, can be guarded. And so when you meet someone that's so genuine and loving, and that's consistent with you all, thank you for that. So I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I remember we were sitting on the side, and I think I was talking to your wife, and I kept nudging Harry, and I was like, I don't know, it's something about her. I don't know. I feel like there's something there. I can't, put my finger on it. And then after your cousin ministered, it was powerful. Yeah. We ended up we just ended up talking, and from there, it was we just stayed with each other throughout the whole, and we were just there for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was just some kind of connection, and that, you just know, even with God, you just know when something is connecting. Mm-hmm. You just have that, with free spirited, the love that you both have. Yeah. It definitely transcended. So, I mean, we're just happy that we met y'all, right? And even leading up to these moments of your life that is so powerful. Yeah.
I'll add one more thing is that we value relationships. Yeah. So it's not just we don't try to make it trivial. It's like it's a seed planted in both directions when you really connect with someone. So it matters. That's kind of like why I believe when you pick up a phone and you call, even though it's been a minute, you still get that reconnection easily. Yeah. So
I think that's again, that's something that's short in the kingdom and just in the world period. But man, we are very loyal. And when you find a genuine relationship, we're like, man, we're holding on to it. And I think I remember telling you guys that day, okay, well, you guys are stuck with us now. we ain't going nowhere. So thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you. You got a project out right now. You got a book out that's for kids. I mean, you got a lot of things going on, and just even talk about some of the things you're doing and how you started even with the music, because you're not just come on board with the music. You've been singing a long time, and just tell us a little bit about that and you and where you started from.
Yeah. So I am Jesse L. Stevenson. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, sunny Florida. Most people usually ask, man, how did you get to New York? And I'm like, God. Well, man, what about the cold? I love it. I was born and raised a Floridian, and let me tell you, I run from that heat. Like the only thing that the heat has probably done for me is help me to stay skinny back then. And I'm telling you, but I don't miss the heat, miss my family, miss friends that I have there. But at any rate, I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, grew up in the central Orlando area, West Orlando, I should say. And my mom often made me and my siblings stand in. We had an air hockey table in our apartment, which was really crazy. It was like the dining room was over here, and then the air hockey table. Like it wasn't one of the little miniature ones. It was like one of the arcade size ones. It was an industrial one. And so I remember Mom would make us stand in front of the table and she'd make us sing, and then she would drag us to, now they call them musicals, but back then they called them singings down south. So she would take us to the singing, and everybody would just church hop. There'd be a singing over here at this guy named Elder Hicks Church, and then there was a church called 910 Livingston Street. That was literally the address. It was Livingston Street Church of God. Everybody just called the place 910 because that was the address. So we go to 910 as kids, and then we go over to Winter Garden to Bay Street Church of God in Christ. And so we just kind of church hopping. All of these choirs and musicians and singers would go from one place to the other, and we would just have these incredible services. And so Mom would make us get up and sing in front of church. And we tell people that we were drug addicts because Mom drug us to church. And then until we found our footing. And once we really found our footing in church, my oldest sister, she was a drummer. She was one of few female drummers in the Central Florida area at the time. And so I learned drums from her at 5. And then my mom brought my brother, who is a world-class vocal coach, to the Stars, bought him a keyboard, and there was a little jazz band in the community, and so I would sneak and play his keyboard while he was outside playing on the playgrounds. And so at about age 7, I quickly migrated to keys, and then by age 8, I was playing for my first youth recital at our church in front of about 1,500 people. And so so I grew up in a musical house, and Mom raised us in church. But one of the things that I'm very appreciative of, as she has gone on from us, she transitioned in 2020. One of the things that I appreciated about my mom was that she didn't keep the radio station strictly to Black gospel. There's a radio station in Orlando that we used to listen to growing up, and it was called WTLN. And so WTLN would play, talk radio, and they would play shows by a guy named Dr. Charles Swindoll, Chuck Swindoll, and they play artists like Larnell Harris and Sandy Patty, and so many of the, what we kind of knew, before CCM was coined in the early 90s, they were kind of like mainstream Southern gospel, CCM, kind of music. And so Mom exposed us to that diversity. So, we knew how to go from singing, I need thee, oh, I need thee every hour, I need thee, to we shall behold him. We shall behold him face to face in all of his glory. So we got this diversity growing up, and Mom really, made sure that we were well-rounded in whatever we did. And so as a result, whatever our desires and aspirations were, my mom really tried to support that. My oldest sister moved from playing drums to becoming a caterer and a cook that can do it well. And so my mom poured into her there. My brother, wanted to become an R&B secular artist. And so, being a licensed missionary evangelist in the Church of God in Christ, my mom, poured into him there and supported him when he released his first radio single and album back in the 93. My mom would go to all of the music stores and buy up all of his music and all of his merch, and then go and just give it away to everybody. Like, she was really, really so supportive. And so she would often do the same for me. And so even up to her passing, she was so intentional about making sure that, she, had something to do with our push. And so that's it. So, I've been doing music. I'm not new to the gospel music industry. I've worked with worship teams and done music ministry and administration. people always tell me, man, you should really exploit your resume, and I'm not really a name dropper, but since I'm on here with you all, I'll just say,
since you on here,
I just think that it's necessary because a lot of people go, oh man, he's an up and coming artist. This is actually my sophomore single. Gospel single, but I released an album back in 2009, and really just went through transition and moving interstate moves, and married life, having kids, church and ministry, and college and all of that. And so I kind of been sitting on this music since between I got a 2013 and 20 and the present. And so so I'm not new to gospel. I've had the pleasure of traveling with for several years Bishop Carlton Pearson. As things begin to transition with him, I've worked with and traveled with Dr. Juanita Bynum. I've shared the platform with so many greats, both gospel and secular. I've had the privilege of not just sharing the stage, but becoming friends with the late Chick Corea, which was a 24-time Grammy Award-winning jazz musician and legend. People like Stanley Clarke. I've shared the stage with Tisha Campbell. I mean, it's just so many greats. I've shared the stage with he's considered to be the second top classical violinist in the world. His name is Alexandria Vorkov. I've worked with him. I've worked with Pharrell Williams. I've worked with Madonna. I've worked with Jada Pinkett Smith. I've toured with them and so many others. So I'm not new to music as per se, but just really working in this season to be intentional about expanding my audience and expanding my reach. People often say, man, the world needs to hear you. And for so long, people like me have kind of trusted people's word that, hey man, I want to open this door for you. I want to put you on this platform, and you kind of trust that, the integrity of that, and then they can't control it or control you, then they're like little kids on the playground. I want my toy back, or I'm taking, I'm gonna keep my door closed, and I'm gonna tell them not to ever bring you. So I've experienced that too, and I'm sure others have. And so I got a word from the Lord in 2020 and 2021 that it was time to release new music. And in the middle of a pandemic, I pulled this book off of the shelf, and I said, God, I'm going to trust you. I received a word from the Lord that God was going to allow my music to pay my bills and my preaching to make me rich. Back in 2017. And I'll say this to you, and especially to you, and for everybody else. I know people go, well, why would you get rich off of preaching? Well, here's the reality. We get our intellectual property, revelation. We get books and classes and courses, that we teach. Most people talk about the TD Jakes of our world, or the Joel Osteens of our world, and how they're living, the way they live. But the truth of the matter is their intellectual property converted to books, becoming #1 bestsellers. These guys don't take salaries from their church, because they make money from their intellectual property, from their books, from their albums, from their lessons and seminars, right? And so since I've released this single 2 weeks ago, I've gotten more calls to preach than a little bit.
Wow.
Craziest thing. It's like, okay, wait, huh? But that's because I dared to obey God in the middle of what looked crazy. And so we know that the Bible says that believe you the Lord your God, and so shall you be established. Believe you his prophets, and so shall you prosper. And so as we walk in this, I've been seeing God do these amazing and incredible things, and so these opportunities that are really coming, is really a blessing from God. And so for that, I am more than grateful to be here with you all, and spend time with you all, and to know that you guys are kind enough to share your audience and your space and your listeners with me. Like, I don't take that for granted.
Wow.
So
go ahead.
No,
I know so much. Go ahead.
it is our pleasure. Matter of fact, it's not only that. It is our passion, because we once had a program, a show called Matters of Image Show, and what we did for the most part was, because we have a passion for indie artists, we created a platform in which they could be seen and heard, and people could be exposed to the music that oftentimes with indie artists, though they may be talented, anointed, and all of that, bring music that that really stirs people's soul, but because the exposure isn't there, the masses that they can reach aren't reached. So we had that real desire to to bring that, create a platform where folks can actually have an opportunity to be seen and heard, and we can say there were quite a few people that came through the camp that were blessed and were exposed in many ways. So it has reminded us of how much we missed that, and we really want to get back to it at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, even what you said about how God spoke to you in this season to say, step out. And one of the things when you did say that came to me was, he always says, your gifts are going to make room for you, right? And so now all that you have done, and I truly believe this, is all that you've done has led up to this point, right? So now, God wants to, they say in the world, throw you to the wolves. No, God wants to throw you to the world now. And now that you experience so much already, being with such great artists, and being with people that that experience, and you have that experience already. Now he's like, you are ready made, right, to go forth now and do all that God has you to do. And those of you who started or when we started the show, the song that you heard was his song called One Day.
Right.
And I'm telling you, if you have not, I'm gonna get my little plug in right here. If you have not, I'm gonna get old country. If you have not gotten it yet, if you have not gotten it yet, you need to download. And like we said last week, we said, listen, don't go bootlegging now. It's $1 and change to get the song, because it takes work. I myself, I'm a gospel recording artist myself, and I understand, how valuable it is when people go and, purchase your record the right way, whether you're doing the streaming and all of that, but it's important to download it and share it, especially now in a digital era. A lot of record companies right now are very mad because we have, the digital era, and this is a way where a lot of people who are, artists that are doing it this way are doing much better than some of the record companies, because there's so much more opportunity globally to make, to do this and get your songs out there. So I'll tell everybody, everybody, don't go and bootleg the songs, okay? And so as you got up to this point right here, tell us how the song One Day came about. I mean, tell us how, you got the words and what came, because I know ever so often God usually has to let you go through an experience in order for you to go ahead and write what you said. So tell us about that.
It's interesting that you asked this question, because Pastor Harry, I have, one of the things that people bring me around the world to do is to teach prophetic worship, teaching their churches how to embrace the song of the Lord, how to dare to trust God in the moment, to let our spiritual ears in this natural realm, in this earth realm, hear what the song of heaven is singing.
Wow.
We refer to it technically as the song of the Lord, or the anointing of Shananiah. Shananiah functioned. He was the choir master in the Bible and Scripture, but he also mastered the art of hearing the song of the Lord and being able to sing. And I'll never forget this. Every song that I have, there is a story behind it, and I vividly remember it. My musician, who was one of my spiritual sons, that moved to New York. Him and another son were here in New York with us. Never forget it. It was the weekend of July 13th, 2014. They had raised some money for a music camp that they were doing here in Spring Valley, and were on their way to go home to come and pick up some of their things from Virginia as he was transitioning. Got stopped by the police and was arrested on some false police charges. And the Sunday that we were in church, I was without my drummer, who was also my son, that was going through this horrific experience because a cop in Rochelle Park wanted to get a notch in his belt. And in the middle of the worship experience there at the church that we were serving at the time, my oldest son was in service with us, and so he filled in that Sunday. And in the middle of service, God gave me the song. And I don't know if it was just because the desire to be in his presence alone, or just the idea that I had sons, spiritual sons, who were going through this moment of being locked away in a prison. They brought him up on these false charges. They said that, you know, he was he fit the description of a known bank robber that was called the Ray-Ban robber. And when you go and look up this guy, you realize that, you know, Jeremy is brown skin and the other guy is white skin. And there's, you know, other than sharing the similarity in the name, you know, that was a really rough time for all of us, seeing them go through that and watching them still try to remain so positive and maintain this faith. And I remember sitting at the organ keyboard that Sunday and began to sing the song, "One day in your presence is better than 1,000 days in paradise. One day in glory as we offer." And so that's how that's how many songs that I've written happen in that moment. And so my wife, my ministry team and members, you know, they've kind of gotten so used to it that when it happens, they automatically get their phones out and they go, "Oh, this is a moment," and they instantly go like this and start.
Yes.
You know, they know, you know, when we push beyond that veil of limitation in worship to capture what it is that God is saying. And so, you know, so much of my album, and not to mention, this is just one of about 16 songs that get fully produced, and I have been sitting on for the last 7 years.
Wow.
Been sitting on these songs. Mother Hines, who is my godmother, you know, we were in a service in the Bronx one Sunday back in 2013. We hadn't made our transition here just yet, but we were transitioning. And so on the weekends, I would go into the city. And so she said, "Son, what are you doing?" you gotta know Mother Hines.
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing on Saturday afternoon? And I said, "Well, Mother, I'm gonna be in the city. I typically go in the city, just get myself acclimated since we're looking to move. And well, son, I need you to come over to the Bronx to this service over at my son Apostle Lenny Harvey's church." And so we walk into Apostle Lenny Harvey's church. Now, mind you, this is a Saturday. That Friday night we're in service, and she gives us prophetic word. And she said, "The Lord said that he's going to give you this $1 million song. He's going to give you this song this weekend."
Wow.
And it was the craziest thing. And so I show up to the service with her, and she, at the end of her message, she starts, I think I want to play it. Can you hear my keyboard?
Yeah, we can. That's
So
good.
she starts singing the song, and I'm sitting at the keyboard, and she goes, she says, son, I keep hearing this song, and I don't know I don't know what this is, but she starts singing, I feel an anointing, I feel an explosion, it's in the air, it's in the atmosphere. And so she starts singing the song, and I start singing it. Sunday morning, we get into worship. We're at the second location of the church that both of us are serving at. Mm-hmm. She's preaching in the Poconos, and sitting, no lie, my wife is like, I don't really understand how you and God have this relationship. I've seen you. My wife will tell you, I've seen you write an entire song in worship, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge. Like, I've seen you do this, and it's unheard of. And so we're in this transition, in this moment of going into worship, and I start singing, and my heart starts singing, there's something coming over me, something that I can't explain. It's powerful in majesty and overflowing rain. I feel an anointing, I feel an explosion. It's in the air, it's in the atmosphere. I feel an anointing, I feel an explosion. It's in the air, it's in the atmosphere. You know,
he could have went on a whole other verse. My God.
This thing. And when we make this transition to New York, the house that we were getting ready to move in 2 weeks before we got ready to move was yanked off of the market. And my wife was like, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to pack up this truck and we're going to go obey God. And so mother said, well, y'all just come on over here and bring my grandkids over here and stay here until we figure it out. So we go, and I set up my mobile studio, and I literally produced this entire song in her basement.
Wow.
And so Let It Overflow was actually going to be my second radio single that'll come out when we get ready to release the full at the end of the month. But if you want to hear the whole song, you can find it on YouTube. I ministrated on the Word Network a couple of years ago with Dr. Medina Pullins. And so an incredible song of worship. It's just we get in these moments where God, my soul is always open to pour out before the Lord, or to let him sing through me. And so that's kind of how it happens. Everybody knows it. And so when you listen to my very first record I released, it's called Breakthrough. It's on all digital platforms. It's kind of a mix of everything. I got some traditional stuff on there. I got some CCM stuff. I got some urban gospel stuff. I got some hip hop stuff on there. And what started happening was, all of these churches and their worship teams, they started asking me, hey man, that record is par excellence, but when are you going to release an album with the music on it that you write in these conferences that we are still singing? And so that's really what my desire is for this new record. So this new record is coming out. It's titled We Win. And so that's going to be a linked album. And so I have, again, I do a rendition of Blessed Be the Rock. Oh, magnify the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised. Which was a huge congregational song during testimony service when we were growing up. So I do that. I have the title cut is called We Win. It goes, now unto him that giveth us the victory. Now unto him that causes us to triumph. Now unto him that causes our enemies to be scattered abroad. Yeah. Now unto him that giveth us the victory. Yeah. I'm not warmed up this morning.
Hey. Oh my God. You know what? I'm telling you, when you start to sing, right? It's like, it's almost like I can, and I'll say it, it's like I can feel like the heavens open up. Like as soon as you open up your mouth, I can feel that, because there's such a passion, right? For not just, like we know the singing, but it's a passion to worship the Lord and to praise him. And so when you open up your mouth and you sing these songs, it's almost like it's a joyous feeling. Even in a place of worship, it's like it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go through, even though I'm going through this, whatever. It's just, it's gonna be all right. And that's one of the things that happened when Harry and I heard the song. I heard the song because the hours that it came out, I think it was like maybe you just released it, you just posted it.
Just after midnight.
It was just after midnight, and I said, and I opened up my phone and I said, oh my gosh, Jesse got the new song coming out. And I think you had did like some kind of interview before or something. You was doing a live, and you was saying that it was coming out, and I heard it and my spirit just leaped. And I was like, this was just, I just knew there was something particular about this record. And so when you came out midnight, that was the first thing that came up on my phone. And it was like, the song is out now. So boom, right away, I went straight to iTunes, downloaded it, and I was just like, and I played it. And I kid you not, when I played that song, I literally heard it, in a spiritual realm, but I heard like an applause. It was like a loud applause. And it was like, you could hear like people going like that. I heard it. And I felt like a joy feeling in my spirit a joyful feeling in my spirit when I heard it. So I called Harry. I was like, babe, come, you gotta hear the song. You gotta hear the song. You gotta hear this. And when he heard it, he was like, oh, wait a minute. And the first thing that, we said was, this song is going to be a hit all over the world.
Yeah.
That was what we said. And it's like, I heard it on every platform. I heard it on, every radio station. I heard it on everything. I literally like saw you and I'll say it, we on the Image Matters Q&A show, but this is who we are. But I literally saw like you receiving an award for this, like a major award for this, because it was that impactful when I heard it. And so that's why we're saying, everybody, because after I heard it, I can't stop playing it. Like it's in my head, one day. And then when you start riffing and everything, I'm like, oh, he go all the way in here. I'm like, he's in. You know what I mean? So it was like that whole thing just totally leads you in this place, and your worship puts you in a place of worship. Like you want to, like I'm tired. I got to surrender now. I'm just like, I'm done doing drugs. I'm done doing this. And that's what God has given onto you now. And so, at this moment when you have this new record out, and you got Now We Win, you got all these songs that are getting ready to come out. I believe this is just definitely a very pivotal moment of your life, and that, God really wanted you to get here so that you can really, put out everything is your heart's desire. And we're just excited about what you're doing. And, this is just a part of what you're doing. Yeah. I mean, you have something else that you're working on even now, which is the children's book.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother situation, right?
Yes, and yes. The book is titled The Adventures of Wild Dog. The Adventures of Wild Dog and Shadow Cat.
Now tell us about the book.
Hercules. I feel like Hercules.
So, man, it's crazy. So this is the book. It's titled The Adventures of Wild Dog and Shadow Cat, published by me. It's crazy because this book, I've never really thought that I would have been writing it. My first book would have been a children's book, guys. Honestly, I was in the middle of writing 2 other books. One book is actually 3 books in one. And so that one is titled The Priest, the Prophet, and the Minstrel, Knowing Your Role in the Music Ministry of the Lord's Church. And so in that particular book, I'm detailing really the office and the aspect of each one. And I really deal with it scripturally, because you get a lot of cynical people that often ask the question, oh, well, is there really a such thing as playing prophetically, or is there such thing as singing prophetically? And so I started this song. This thing, whatever you call it. But I started writing this book, and when writing it, I have another song that I had written that I started turning into a book, and it's called Born to Win. This will be a bonus track on the record. It goes time after time, you have tried to overcome it. Trouble it has planned your defeat on every side. Life, it is filled with the challenges of focus, but if you keep your eyes on God, you will win the prize. You are formed in the image of our God. You are wonderfully made. You have victory flowing through your veins and in your DNA. You were born to win, never to lose. Live undefeated, just like a champion. It's God's choice for you. You were born to conquer, never to fail. Wipe the tears from your eyes, give it a try. You were born to win. So I wrote that song, and really just speaking to the champion that's in all of us. And so I started writing that book called The Champion's Handbook, Discovering the Champion from Within. And so each line of the song, that chorus, you're born to win, never to lose, live undefeated, just like a champion is God's choice for you. And so I literally write a chapter or a section of that song as it was in development. But 8 years ago, when we moved to New York, my wife was 8 weeks postpartum.
Wow.
Like baby girl was 8 weeks old. Pearson was 18 months old. And we uprooted and followed an instruction from the Lord to move from Richmond, Virginia to New York. And so in the house that we were living in, there was the master bedroom was the only bedroom upstairs. The kids' bedroom was downstairs. And so, they were too young for them to be down that far away from us. So they slept in the extra room that was inside of our room. And they would ask me, Dad, can you read us a bedtime story? And I was like, I don't want to go downstairs and get a book. So I kept this flashlight in my book bag. And I would go in the room and I would close the door and would turn the light off and make these little doggy shadow puppets and cat shadow puppets on the wall. And this story, The Adventures of Wild Dog and Shadow Cat, kind of became a thing for the last, 7 years. In 2020, sitting on the couch as we were planning my father-in-law's funeral, it's like this whole story leaped off of the pages for me. And I jumped up and I ran out of the room, and my wife and her family was looking at me like, our family was looking like, is he okay? And I just bolted out of the room. And 15 minutes later, I came back with this first story, The Adventures of Wall Dog and Shadow Cat.
Wow.
And so it literally is me walking, putting my kids to bed at night. Bedtime was a huge production in my house for me and the kids. It still is even now. And baby girl now is about to be 9 in June, and my baby boy is about to be 11, in next Wednesday. And so this is Pearson. This is a cartoon version of Pearson. We're putting him to bed, and so they're asking me to tell them this story. And as I'm putting them to bed, that's him, and that's Juju. Juju has a stuffed animal called Ruby that we actually got her, and it's kind of been a kind of companion, because once we moved, here in New York, we had to send her actual dog Ruby to Virginia to stay for a little bit. And so Wall Dog, kind of looks like Ruby, in the color and design. And this became a book. And so within 6 days, I've written 3 of these. So I have the first one is the introduction. The second one that we just finished illustration on about a month ago. It's called The Adventures of Wall Dog and Shadow Cat, Battle for the Candy Corn. And that second book is an ode to my mom, who we lost, like I said earlier. But my mom, her favorite candy was candy corn. And so I write this ode to her in this silly story. And so, yeah. And then the third one is called The Adventures of Wall Dog and Shadow Cat, which will go this summer into illustration for. But it's called The Adventures of Wall Dog and Shadow Cat. It's dark in here. So I released this book. This one is out everywhere: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart. You can order it directly online, and you'll get it. If you want a signed copy, you can go to my website, www.jesseostevenson.com, and you can order it. And I personally sign them, and you also get a signed letter from me that encouraging parents to get back to creating bedtime security for kids, whether it's your grandchildren, your nieces, or your nephew, if you're babysitting. That's really important, because what I found out was with my kids, we had ADT security, we had double pane glass windows in the house, we had deadbolt locks on the door. The kids were in the room with us, but when it came down to bedtime, what I discovered was that they were dealing with some bedtime anxiety. They were in a new space, they were in a new state, they were in a new environment, they were away from, maybe not Juju, but Pearson was away from his friends. We were away from our circle. We had closed our church down in Virginia. So a lot of things really changed that left us, figuring a lot of it out in faith. Watch this, in faith. And what I discovered was child psychologists discovered that reading a bedtime story to a kid helps not only to reduce their bedtime anxiety, which much of their bedtime anxiety is often stemmed from them silently carrying our adult anxiety. They can feel our pressure, feel our stress, the unspoken things that we're worrying about in transition. They sense and feel it. And the difference is they're too young. They don't necessarily know how to adequately communicate that. And so bedtime stories, started creating some calm and some peace for them. And so this thing became a book that I've actually released in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry. English, Spanish, and French. I'm sorry. And so you can get all hard copies. I have had learning centers get them, because here's another thing I didn't know. I just thought, man, I get this to write a book, and I'll just put it up for $1.99 and let it be that. But my wife and her aunts and her sister, they're all educators. And they said, hey, my wife, she'll call me babe from time to time. And so her auntie, who runs her own learning center and tutoring center, she tends to call me babe, because that's what she hear my wife calls me. So she says, babe, she said, you have more than just a children's book here. she said, nephew, she said, you got there's sight words that are here and there. And so my wife and I, we sat and we went according to the national database of sight words through this company called Dosh, their list of sight words. And we discovered that this book has sight words that range from pre-K on up to 3rd grade.
Wow.
So then I started getting this team around me that's saying, hey, create this worksheet, create that worksheet. And now it's turning into a whole entire curriculum.
Wow.
So all because in the middle of a pandemic, we dare to trust God and to still hear him despite how crazy things look. Yeah. And God, we have been prophesying to our church and everywhere that we go that God was going to give us witty inventions, innovative and creative ideas, some silly and stupid idea that most people think is stupid, and you don't realize it's going to be $1 million thing.
Yeah, wow.
To work it and keep going. And so we wrote this book and illustrated it. And I have an incredible illustrator right here in the U.S. Her name is Juliette Forche, who I told her, you're stuck when we talk relationships.
Yeah,
you're stuck with me. I don't want to work with another illustrator. You know, you're it for me. And so for her, she's an educator who loves to draw and just started creating her own content and illustration and worksheets for her children in her classroom. That's how she got into illustrating.
Wow.
You know, again, this passion and this desire to do something creative, and the Lord led me straight to her. And I'm like, hey, sis, you stuck with me. Like, this is it, you know. And so she has illustrated my second book, and you know, my wife and my family, they've been so supportive. And during many of these decisions, you know, I've included them with this book. You know, hey guys, every time I get a new illustrated page, you know, I'm like, I got something, and we, you know, climb around and we do this. And so, you know, for people that are watching, your audience, don't think that you got this idea and it's stupid. It's not a stupid idea.
That's right.
Wow.
What you think is silly and stupid, man, is genius to someone else. It is a solution. And so I've had just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I had a someone that follows my ministry, a preacher at the church in Ohio quite a bit, and they had a family who the husband came home and was home from war and was battling PTSD and really didn't know how to cope, and ended up committing suicide. He was also a co-worker of hers as well, and he has these 2 little girls. And so she was like, I want to buy 2 books and give them. And then she had some other kids that was dealing with some traumatic situations with family. And so I gifted these books and signed them and sent them to them. You know, it's just this kind of thing where it's not like, okay, you know, I want to make money, but I'm like, man, what's the impact that I want to leave? You know,
that's right.
You know, it's about impact for me. And, you know, not just getting paid alone, you know, but who is this going to bless? You know, who is this going to help? You know, and so I'm a Black author that's written children's books. So
wow. I mean, I you just said a whole mouthful. And you know, I know we like we're at the end of the show, but it's just, and I'm glad. Please stay on a little bit. We, you know, usually are an hour, but we this is so powerful of what you're doing, because you're impacting so many people and so many young people and so many children with this. First of all, we want to thank you so much for being with us today. This here was so vital, you know, between the music, between the books. You're just an impact, not just to the local body, but you're an impact to the world. And so many things we know are getting ready to come out of this. We want you once again to tell us exactly where to get your books, where to get the music and everything before we leave.
Absolutely. Let me just say before I say that, thank you all so much for this time and for allowing me to share and exposing me again to your audience. Some great people on, some of my churches on as well, watching. Revive. Shout out to Revive Church. Love you, Keisha.
Yes.
Keisha's on watching as well. You can, if you want to get signed copies of the book, you can definitely go to my website, www.jesseostevenson, and you can order them. And I promise you, about as fast as you can click that pay button, you will have a notification that's like your book has been shipped. We don't play around here. We get them out. But if you want to go to Amazon and download it, you can go to Amazon and download it. You can also order it for Kindle on Amazon as well.
Yes.
Walmart has it. Barnes and Noble has it. I mean, you'll be able to find it. And as well with music, my music is everywhere. It's only $1.29. So
that's it, $1.29.
Yeah, for your iTunes, Apple Apostolic users, God bless you so much. We thank God for the Apostolic Church, the Apple. We're gonna work on you, Harry. We're gonna work on you. Don't worry about it. We gonna how long help you between two and two? Come over to Mount Carmel. Let us this issue. You know, we gotta be apostolic. You know, we don't Samsung and Delilah in the kingdom. We lose Samsung and Delilah.
Jesse, you know, it was becoming so promising.
I promise you.
Once you talk to you, bring you to the right side.
So one day is everywhere. It's in all your stores. But I would just ask that for independent artists, Lady Alicia, you're independent artists.
Yes.
And independent artists suck up all of the cost. So what people don't know about streaming is it's a pool that happens. And so when they stream, the artists that's making the most noise and getting the most streams online are the ones that get the biggest payout. The ones who are not getting as many streams, guess what? They get pennies. Yes. Whereas when you go and you pay that $1.29 and download that record or download that person's book, you are helping that artist, not just the streams, but you're helping the artist. And so I always encourage people, you know, you can go buy it from Amazon, and stream it. Buy it from Amazon and stream it. You got Apple Music, cool. I do too. Go to iTunes and buy it and make sure that you're able to help support independent artists, because that allows us to be able to become our own machine. All right. So it's everywhere, even on Pandora for the streamers. Pandora, it's on Tidal, it's on iHeartRadio. I mean, anything that's a digital platform that you can listen. It's okay. I'm not going to leave you hanging, Harry. It's even on the Google Play stores. It's on Google Play. All right. I ain't that biased. I'm not going to limit myself like that. It's everywhere that you can download and stream music. It is there. Spotify. Listen, go to Spotify. Follow me if you listen to music on Spotify. Find my account, Jesse O. Stevenson. Don't worry about it, Sister Tally. I'm sorry, one of my members on here, Dr. Tally. We pick at her all the time because she's a part of that Samsung and Delilah Church too. But listen, we're pulling down every idol, every strong idol. So that's it. Do it, and man, just follow me on social media. You'll be able to keep in contact. I'm actually doing a part of a concert that this coming Saturday next week, where we will be with Byron Cage, the legendary Byron Cage, legendary B. Chase Williams, and some other incredible artists for this big radio event. And then we were supposed to do this concert on last night in Mount Vernon. But because of the weather and the snow, they moved. So we'll reschedule that on Monday. But I'll be sharing the stage with Brianna Young and Vincent Bohannon and so many other incredible people. So so that's how you can find me, Jesse O. Stevenson, on all social media.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we feel honored to have had you on the show today.
Yes.
I mean, you definitely have to come back.
Yes.
Whenever you whenever you're putting anything out, you have our platform. You can at any time just send us call us. Just let us know what you're doing, and we'll be happy to have you on so that the world can know. Because I've got so many questions that I would have loved to show up in 2 hours today. Because it's that intense.
It's that definitely.
Well, let's make it happen again whenever you guys are ready.
We definitely are going to do it and have you back on again and share, because you have so much body of stuff and so much work and just so much love. Shout out to your church, to Revive Church. Shout out to you all. Your pastor is shouting up on here. Yeah, shout out to Revive Church. We want to thank you once again. You are an amazing. We said it before. We will keep saying it. We got to give people flowers while they're here, right? We're going to be here for a long time. So you're real big. So we want to say thank you for being here. We want to take it out on the Image Matters Q&A show. Please definitely go onto our page. Those of you who may not have seen this before, we know they're going to be sharing it on all the platforms. And those that you are on here, tag and share the video. That's important too. Share. Because this was such a great experience with you, and we truly love you. Shout out to your beautiful wife, Lakeisha. We love you. Hugs and kisses to the babies.
Yes.
Those of you who did not hear his song, here's his brand new single that's out, which is called One Day. One Day in His Presence. Make sure you go and download it. It's good. It's an amazing record. We love you, man. We love you. Thank you all for listening to the Image Matters Q&A show. Please join us again next Saturday. We love y'all. Remember, it's one day. Download the record now today. Yes.
One day in your presence is better than 1,000 days of paradise. One day in your glory, as we offer our worship sacrifice. You make me sing, oh, you make me sing, oh. I just want to be in your presence. You make me sing, oh, it makes me sing, oh. I just want to be in your presence.
Love you all. Have a great Saturday, everybody. Love y'all.
Come on and lift your voice and say, yeah. As we all